Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. Do you know what time it is?
It's time for apple pie, pork sandwiches, and river wrap potatoes.
You're right. It's time for the Apple and Pork Festival. And that's why you're the other Ryan.
And for real estate, visit their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
News time is 8 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast. Brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. Coming up in news on this Thursday, the DeWitt County Board last month took up the use for sales from the Marina. We'll have the discussion the board had last month at its county board meeting. Overeaters Anonymous is meeting in Clinton. The group has established itself in DeWitt County and is inviting those who struggle with food addiction to join them for support. A new 4-H year is underway, and we highlight the neighborhood care center's neighborhood market this morning. Also, the St. Louis District Dairy Council is talking teens and nutrition. Those stories in news on this Thursday. But first, we stream to Facebook and YouTube. It is brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. At last month's DeWitt County Board meeting, Chair Dan Matthews encouraged the board to consider how to use the funds from the sale of the Clinton Lake Marina. Matthews offered some ideas of how those funds could be used.
The next item that's on here is not for a motion as such. It's determination on what to do with proceeds from the sale of the marina. It's more of a question we brought up in discussion in finance about the funds is, could they be used for future economic development? Also taking into consideration the part of the agreement was right of first refusal. If the property was to be sold in the first 5 years, do we need to hold some funds? Not that this board wants it back, but I guess speaking for myself. So I guess I just asked that be put on there, Mr. Markwell, to get a little guidance from you and just have the open discussion of what we could possibly do with those funds.
State's Attorney Dan Markwell told Matthews and the board they needed to decide how to budget for the dollars first. He says the board has a couple of options on how to budget those dollars.
First of all, you've got to budget them. So if you're choosing to use them, you need to put them in the upcoming budget. You can always put it in the general fund, and if you don't have anything currently allocated, it'll be there to use, but it really kind of depends on the board. They need to be used, something for the benefit
of the
community. It could be used to, fund the county, and thereby, you may not have to levy as much. You could reduce the taxes. You could, if you did like a early retirement incentive, and potentially have older employees retire early, and then you wouldn't have to amortize the monies for that because you've got it, you can pay it and bring in people at lower cost theoretically. You can augment various budgets, whether it's economic development or mental health or whatever it is, that might be a need out there for. I guess if you got a specific thought on something, you can let me know, but as long as you're using it for the benefit, of the citizens of the county, there's not a real restriction.
Meanwhile, while Matthews did not have anything specific in mind, board member Joe Whitty suggested putting that money aside for a couple of years to make sure everything at the marina remains on the up and up.
We talked a little bit about that in the marina when we met last, and we specifically asked for the right of first refusal in case this does sell. And so let's say something happens in the next year and this goes up for sale. If we put this money in the general fund and use it on something else, we're not going to have the money in the budget to take up that provision that we specifically wanted in the contract. So my thought would be that we don't have to do anything immediately. We can put that money in a fund till we see that the marina is being developed. I think they came in with an SUP last week to start the campground, and if they develop this like we think, then obviously we probably would not be able to to repurchase that. But if something falls through and it goes up for sale, and we really want to retain control, we've got to have the money there. And so I would say we set the money aside for a period of time. It doesn't have to be the full amount forever, but until that provision is no longer going to be viable, we need to have the money somewhere where it's accessible in case it does go up for sale. That would be my thought. So I don't know that we need to make a decision on this immediately. If we set it aside for a year and see where the marina is and then the campground, and a year from now, if it's starting to get developed out of our price range, then we decide at that point in time how do we use the funds. But that would be my suggestion. I think it's something to consider. If we don't really need that right of first refusal, then let's spend it. But that's worthless if we can't afford to.
Matthews told Regional Radio there are a lot of directions the county could direct those dollars to reinvest in its communities.
Mr. Ferguson and I and others, Joe Whitty, the rest of the Marina Committee, I've also just talked about what can we do with the funds we receive from the Marina, right? We want to further economic development. We talked a little bit about the other night, we had a presentation of finance from the grocery co-op that's trying to get off the ground in Farmer City. That could potentially be something that we could help with some funds that we receive from the Marina. So we just, again, I brought that to the attention of the board is, hey, let's think about what we can do with this money, kind of like ARPA funds as well.
Sure.
This is not something we get, $1 million+ to be able to do some good things with.
Yep.
So get everybody thinking about it.
The board did not take a vote on any specific uses for the funds last month. Still to come this morning in news, a new 4-H year is underway in DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties through the University of Illinois Extension, and the St. Louis District Dairy Council is talking about teens and proper nutrition. Those stories still to come here on this Thursday. A new group to help those who struggle with food addiction is meeting in DeWitt County. Overeaters Anonymous is a group aimed at helping those who have issues with food consumption. The group is led by Robert Garcia, who admits this is something personal for him, but also he aims to help others facing a similar struggle.
Clinton OA is the official new support group that is launched as a local chapter of the National Overeaters Anonymous here in DeWitt County, Illinois. And we're really excited. We have a 60-year history of helping people realize that food addiction is a real addiction and that we should listen to and follow the advice of the medical experts in the industry. And I personally have struggled with it for years and have found specifically the tools of recovery in OA to be extremely helpful and empowering. So I'm excited to be a part of the community and to help bring this resource here as well. My personal experience with this group and others like it is twofold. One, I've been a member where I myself personally have found the tools to recovery extremely empowering. And second, I have led these groups before in other communities, some virtual, some in person, some outside of OA, but very specifically around food addiction and eating disorders. And so my experience with it and my background with it are both, yes, I definitely want to help the community and I find it self-rewarding, but I would be lying if I didn't disclose as well that part of the reason I do this is really selfish on my part because I find it helpful and I want that tool to be available to me as well. So I do it to help, but I also do it because I personally recognize that I need it and I need it on an ongoing long-term basis to continue my own recovery journey.
If you enjoy food but are not sure it is an addiction, or maybe you suspect food addiction is something you battle but are not sure, Garcia explains there are several things to look out for in your eating habits.
That's an excellent question. There are a few ways that the experts have told us, hey, these are some things that we should all be self-aware of. One is if you find that you're using it as a crutch when you're stressed, when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling depressed, that's an indicator that it may be something that you're dealing with in an unhealthy relationship. If you find that you're starting to have health issues, that's very key because of that indulging in food. It may be an addictive process that you see that it's unhealthy, you see that it's starting to affect your quality of life, your ability to move, etc. But you tell yourself, oh, I just indulge, but it doesn't control me. Those are the types of thoughts that are an indicator that seeking help may be helpful for you and your health. And certainly if there are people that feel like There's other symptoms, like for some, it's going to be addiction to exercise. For some, it's I use food as a reward when I'm bored, when I'm down. I do it every time I stream videos. Or there's all sorts of different smaller signs, and it's specific to each individual. But things like food addiction and OA are not just about the indulging and the binge eating. For some, believe it or not, they're addicted to exercise, and it manifests in different ways and different forms of addiction around our relationship with self-image, with food, with health, with exercise, etc. So if you're dealing with any of those types of challenges, we hope that you'll come to a meeting and learn more.
Garcia says those with food addiction often deal with obesity and physical health challenges. Those can then lead to psychological and emotional health issues.
I do want to highlight what you just described as all three. We know for a fact, I'll start with the first point you mentioned, the tenet of health issues. We know for a fact that people with food addiction are more prone to serious, sometimes life-challenging health problems, things like obesity, hypertension, diabetes, etc. They often also deal with chronic pain, limited mobility, disabilities, and some of these folks have just learned to deal with it. Others, unfortunately, get to the point where those health risks and complications can become life-challenging and severe. And then you mentioned the emotional and mental health piece, and well, that's really critical because, unfortunately, what we have found and what the experts have shared is that the first part, those physical and health issues, often will translate to these feelings of hopelessness, anxiety, depression, in fact, sometimes suicidal ideation, in fact. So they do go hand in hand, and they're things that, again, alone one can feel overwhelmed and can feel like there isn't light at the end of the tunnel. But when we bring you in and show you that there is a place where you can relate, where you can find solutions and tools that will help you to fight this disease together on a day-to-day basis, it really does help us to address both on a holistic level and say, hey, look, it's okay that you have these feelings, but here's why. And we want people to live, and we want people to also live with a high quality of life and have joy. And that means that we have to be honest with ourselves about our challenges, our failures, and then begin to receive that love and support and embrace tools that will help us to recover.
Overeaters Anonymous meets on Sunday afternoons at Anytime Fitness in Clinton.
We meet weekly on Sundays at 3 p.m. in Clinton, Illinois. We're open to everyone. The meetings are always free, and we're located inside the group classroom at Your Time Fitness. And I want to give a shout out to the owner, who has been very nice and supportive of our new efforts here and allows us to meet there for free. For those who don't know, it's located right next to Dollar Tree in Clinton, Illinois. The address is 47 Cedar Drive, but it's right behind the Circle K next to Dollar Tree on Van Buren. And again, we're there every Sunday, at 3 p.m. for about an hour in the group classroom at the back of the gym. And so it's a good, safe, private space, and we're very excited to be here. In terms of how people can learn more, our website is clintonoa.org. Our email address is info@clintonoa.org. You can search for Clinton OA on Facebook, and we encourage everyone to click on newsletter when they get to our website. There's an email list you can sign up so that you can follow our meeting updates and receive other helpful tips and resources. If there's anyone out there listening and they feel like they've tried things and maybe they've even tried other groups or virtual or online or on phone or whatever, I just hope that folks, all I ask is that you consider this, just come to one meeting. That's all we want, folks. You don't have to see this as this big mountain you have to climb in one step. All you have to do is focus on, can I get to one meeting? And from there, we have you, and we will help you get through there. But all we ask is that you commit to yourself to do one more thing, one small step. Can you get to one meeting? And I promise you, if you take that leap of faith, there will be a whole new world of support and love that is there for you.
ClintonOA.org has more information on Overeaters Anonymous in Clinton. Garcia hopes if you are battling food addiction, you'll take that leap of faith and put yourself out there to receive help and support from others in a similar circumstance. 22 minutes after 7 o'clock, we've got more to get to on the WHOW Morning Show.
The Chevrolet Silverado is ready to work for you. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. Yes, we've got a great selection of 24 Silverados in regular cab, double cab, and crew cab models with gas or diesel engines. Our 3-liter Duramax diesel gets fantastic fuel mileage, 20 city, 30 highway, while working for you. We have 6.6 engines in gas or diesel for our HD Silverados as well. Come see our inventory today at BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
Again, 23 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today with this expanded local newscast. Still to come in our news this morning, the Neighborhood Care Center is highlighting its neighborhood market, and we hear from the St. Louis District Dairy Council about teens and their nutrition. A new 4-H year is upon us, and registration is open. 4-H coordinator at the U of I Extension in DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties, Kendra Wallace, says there is a $20 fee for the whole year of 4-H. You choose one primary club and then join as many secondary clubs as you like.
Just as a reminder, it's $20 for the whole year. The money is well spent. I don't mean it in that capacity at all, but it's just very much like when you look at it in the relative term of things, $20 for the whole year, that gets them their membership in any club. You choose a primary club, and then you can join as many secondary clubs as you would like. So the main purpose behind that is strictly for exhibiting purposes during the 4-H show. So you pick primary one county kind of thing. But overall, it is very much a program that you can pick your own schedule, so to speak. Most clubs meet once a month, so it's not a massive time commitment. You still could go and be committed. We always recommend, well, as a guideline to show at the 4-H show, you have to have at least made one club meeting. So if you've got a conflict with sports scheduling or church scheduling, whatever else you might be doing, it's still doable and manageable. It's not, 4-night-a-week commitment or anything like that. So
Gotcha.
It fits. You can do what fits your family's schedule.
Sure. Wallace says one of the biggest benefits for kids in 4-H is the confidence they're able to gain. Their ambition never ceases to amaze her when they pursue lofty projects like a Braille chessboard.
Neighborhood market.
The kids amaze me every single year with the quality of their projects and the creativity that they bring to the table. Some of these projects just, like I said, they blow me out of the water. And I think, and it's crazy to me that they pursue such ambitious projects as well. So those that might not be familiar, we have clover buds. Clover buds are ages 5 to 7, and they're not truly a 4-H member yet, but we give them an opportunity to still showcase some projects of what they've learned or maybe have completed over the year. And we had, I'm blown away because these kids are so young, but they're still the quality of the projects. Like, they could still be competing with the older kids. We had one this year that just was exceptional. Little girl had made a Braille chessboard.
Wallace also notes they are trying to improve their communication with members and families.
We're really trying to rally our efforts this year as far as our guidelines and communication. But if anyone has recommendations on how we get that information out to everybody, right now, Extension, our main form of communication is email. So if you want to keep up with us, you can definitely check out our Facebook pages and follow our events page on our website. But the best way to do that is to contact your local Extension office and get signed up for our e-updates that go out every Monday.
Get more information on the new 4-H year at the Extension website, extension.illinois.edu/DMP. Teenagers are not always the healthiest consumers of food, and a local nutrition educator is hoping parents will help their teens eat right. On the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday, Monica Nyman with the St. Louis District Dairy Council told Regional Radio she knows firsthand that teens are not always into eating right. However, it's imperative for their growth and development.
Well, first of all, I just want to start this interview by saying that if you have teenagers, especially boys like myself, every day we're just going to try to do the best that we can with this age group. They're a little bit challenging. One thing that we know is that their nutrition is probably not on par. And there's a lot of different reasons for that, but we know that teenagers are not getting enough of many of the food groups that they need, including the dairy food group, whole grains, getting that fiber in, and they're probably not eating as many fruits and vegetables as they should be. The school year has started. Some of the teenagers out there are skipping breakfast. So if that's one thing that you can do to help your teen, it's to get that meal in, because they need that nutrition. And it's important for energy. It's important for focus as they start their days in school.
Nyman encourages making breakfast easy and portable. If you can provide a couple of easy options for kids to eat in the car or on the go, that's something that is plenty to get their day started.
Yeah, so a couple of things that we do at our house. Number one is just communication. We talk about, hey, you have to eat breakfast. I don't care if it's a package of, breakfast bars in a string cheese on the way out the door, but you have to have something to be able to focus. With high school, their lunch periods kind of vary. So sometimes their schedule will allow for an early lunch, but sometimes they're not eating until maybe 12:30 or 1 o'clock. So just be kind of mindful of that. My boys always pack snacks in their backpack, so I always make sure that we have a variety of things for them to choose from in the morning.
Yogurt is an excellent source of complete protein, which provides all 9 essential amino acids that support healthy growth. Nyman explains research indicates yogurt eaters have a higher intake of key nutrients, including calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, fiber, compared to those who do not eat yogurt.
When I was talking about the different types of food groups that teenagers aren't getting, the whole grains, the fruits and vegetables, the dairy foods. A lot of that is parent driven. So if you're shopping at the grocery store, making sure that those foods are at your house. So having teenagers, and I kind of mentioned this before, they're independent, they're going out to eat a lot, they're eating snacks with their friends, and so they're making choices on their own. But when you have food at home, trying to make sure that you're meeting those nutritional requirements, having stuff out on the counter.
Yogurt is very versatile. A Greek yogurt can be a great alternative as well. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWitt.